Welcome back to the next installment of our player interviews as we build up to the finals night tomorrow. I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Place, the IT manager at Can Group, aka Chris Vian. Welcome, Chris.
How you doing, John?
Keeping the best. Yeah, thanks for asking. Nobody ever asked me how I'm doing. How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Just glad that all the points have reset for the next round and so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Fresh start, clean slate, ready to go. New impetus coming into this week, but well done. You guys have made your way to the prestige section in our Warzone tournament, and you guys are playing to win the donation for Aber Necessities. Obviously, an Aberdeen-based company as well.
I like your I like how we've made our way into the prestige section. Not that we've failed to make it into the elite section and therefore have fallen into the prestige section. Is what you mean? I like the word in there. But thanks for that, John.
Always frame it positively. And as we just have been discussing, it could well have been a tactical decision to enter the prestige section. So this is what it all comes down to.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. We could potentially have been hustling you this whole time, but I can conclusively say that we have not.
I love the idea of people hustling in Warzone. That's the way it should be done. But yourself and Bruce have been kind of sharing the captaincy throughout. And how's that been from a team management point of view, keeping everybody engaged?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same. Beyond that, it's been the same team. Sort of, we've sort of had 5 people interested in the team, so we've just been kind of swapping people around as much as we can. And I'm very much a Warzone newbie, so Bruce actually has played the game once or twice before this tournament, unlike myself, so he kind of knows what he's doing. And if I'll be honest, even when we've been in playing the games anyway, I'm sort of taking a back seat and letting the people that actually played the game tell me what they're doing, so tell me what to do. So it's been quite good. I mean, what I'll need to do is obviously I'll be back on for tomorrow to either take the blame for our failure or to seize the glory of our victory, obviously. So what we need to do is we need to get the full stats for the 2 days and just see who's done the best on what day, just to sort of finalise it. But no, it's been going quite good. So.
Well, that squad choice is a difficult decision to make, so I don't envy you in that front. But I love the leadership. You'll land on your sword regardless of how it goes. Quite right to that too as well, and really interesting. You've mentioned obviously being fairly new to Warzone. Obviously you've plenty of gaming experience. It's quite an easy game to pick up. But how has that been from almost a standing start? Like when we initially spoke, you said you downloaded the game the next day and just went for it. But how have you found that?
Yeah. So I mean, it was it's pretty straight. I mean, it's a fairly standard first-person shooter. You just got to. It's one of these ones. It's you've got to figure out what you're doing. What do all the buttons do? Spend a couple of days doing that, and yeah, just there's obviously. I'm obviously at a significant disadvantage to some of your other competitors, I would suggest, that have probably had this since release or have spent the whole of the last lockdown doing it. But nah, it's been all right. I'm potentially better. I mean, I'm not saying I'm any better this week than I was last, but certainly I kind of know what most of the buttons do now, which is a bonus from when we started the tournament last week.
That's a good position to be in.
It's a low entry point as well. So within the Can Group, we are very sort of people focused. So we do tend to get a lot involved in a lot of events generally. And mostly, obviously, these are physical events, and it's been quite frustrating from a team building point of view for the company that we haven't really been able to do too much over the last year. We've done a few kind of virtual events, but this was a little kind of something a little bit competitive, a little bit different, just to maybe get a little bit of sort of morale building sort of thing within the organisation. So. Just when you obviously contacted me about it, I thought that sounds like a good idea. Let's just go ahead and install it. So there's a couple of guys in the team that are kind of in the same boat as me, so that have literally just gone and downloaded and installed the game, and just let's have a crack and see how we get on. So yeah, and hey, we're mid-table thus far, so we're doing all right.
You're doing more than all right. I want to get on to some of your team tactics in a minute, because I know you've kind of excelled in Plunder, but just in terms of the reason for getting involved, obviously it seems to be a really good team building experience for you. But has the tournament lived up to your expectations so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's been a good laugh. I mean, obviously just a little bit different for us. Obviously, it's a first kind of experience of kind of esports, as it were. So our expectation. I don't really know what we expected, but it's been interesting to see some of the quality of some of the competitors exceeds my expectations. I would say I was expecting it just to be a bunch of people working for companies, but yeah, there's some really good players in amongst this lot. I would say some. So yeah, I think generally speaking, the rest of the team have enjoyed the competitiveness and have started getting quite into the game and things like that. You know, so it's been quite good. We've had a lot of support. We had a lot of support from sort of sponsorship and things like that from within the company. We've started live streaming stuff on YouTube gaming and things like that as well, which we've had people from the organisation messaging us the next day to say, I was watching your YouTube stream last night. So we have to be very careful what we say on the chat and things. So.
Yeah, the no filter for some of those things, but definitely keep an eye on that. And great to hear that your kind of relatively low expectations have been met at least, and that you're enjoying the experience so far. But as we said earlier, you're going into the prestige section, ranked in seventh position. But that doesn't tell the full story, because there's only 7 points between you and the top ranked team in that division, so it could be really potentially really tight. Obviously the scores reset, so it's really all to play for now. I mentioned you guys have kind of, from your scoring, the plunder map has certainly been your specialty, but how have those team tactics evolved, and how have the sort of strategy side of it been playing out for you guys?
The main tactic for us has been to try and shoot other people and try and not let those other people shoot us. We've not been doing particularly well at that thus far, because that involves other people who appear to be better at the game than us. But the plunder, given that the main impetus of that is to go and collect money, which we can kind of just do, and then you just have to try and avoid as many people as possible. We seem to have been pretty good at that. But anything that involves us trying to kill people or trying not to be killed by other people, we have to improve. There's definitely room for improvement there. But as I say, as I mentioned earlier, we could have been hustling you all along, and we could be pulling out 35 kills tonight and tomorrow night, and so we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, let's wait and see. I'm sure Aber Necessities would be absolutely delighted with your hustling capabilities. And do you want to tell us a little bit about the charity? And
yeah. So it's a local non-profit charity based in sort of Aberdeen. So they help out underprivileged families in Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire. So they kind of provide the families with kind of essential items that they might need to care for their children. Sort of, in particular, our Just Giving sort of page that we've set up there is targeting one of their campaigns that they have at the moment, which is called No Child Should Go Without a Hero. So that is essentially targeting the children of sort of women that have been fleeing domestic abuse. So effectively, to make the world a little gentler and kinder, they're creating these things called Fresh Start Packs, the sort of essentials for the children and the parent when they're kind of starting over after a sort of traumatic experience of sort of fleeing sort of domestic situation. So we've still got that ongoing. So if anyone's watching the video, we can visit justgiving.com/Can Group Esports. And we would be more than happy to take a donation from anyone that would be willing to do that there. So yeah, we're doing. We'll hopefully we'll see how we go on over the next couple of days. See if we can add some more to that from your prize money.
No, fair play to you, and you're obviously a cause close to home. You guys do a lot with them. It's part of an ongoing partnership, I know, with Can Group and Aber Necessities as well. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about the work of Can Group and maybe how that's evolved throughout lockdown and how you guys are coping with it all?
Yeah, so Can Group, we're a market leading life of asset integrity services provider. So that's our so we sort of deliver services to the energy industry, essentially to ensure asset reliability. In particular, supporting sort of late life infrastructure, essentially making sure that things are all working as they should and everything's done safely and efficiently, and sort of ensuring the sort of productivity of that asset. certainly over the last year, we've obviously continued working. One of the things that my role sort of oversees, so I oversee all the sort of technology aspect of the group effectively. In particular, our software services.
Mm-hmm.
So one of our big products is Engage. It's our data intelligence platform. So we use that across a number of assets in the North Sea. And the sort of focus on sort of digitalization and using that intelligent data has been really important over lockdown, as people aren't able to do things on paper anymore. They aren't able to do things face to face. So we're seeing a very big uptake on that, and people just looking to get the most out of their data and the most out of their sort of efficiency, effectively, and improving efficiency and making sure that we can sort of maintain that sort of safe aspect of the asset without the additional sort of complexities that are potentially thrown up now as a result of the pandemic as well. So,
without compromising anything. I'm actually following some of that chat. I used to work for an oil and gas market intelligence agency, and we specialised in the latest innovations coming out of the sector. And this is maybe going back 8, 9, 10 years ago, when EOR and enhanced oil recovery was the kind of zeitgeist, and just extending the asset life of so many different fields out in the North Sea has been really, really crucial. I don't know, offloading some of them assets has been really big business for the likes of Shell and BP, but a lot of emerging oil and gas companies have came in and taken over those assets and done a really good job with them, and done it safely as well. So obviously with companies like your support. So
now at the moment you've got assets out there that were designed to last 25 years and they're now in their 30th year. For example, so what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that those continue to operate safely for years to come, because they can. By sort of understanding the past and controlling the data at the moment, we can ensure that future. Basically, that's our mantra.
Yeah. So I was going to say, with things being so data driven now as well, it's actually it's backed up by evidence and facts, and that just gives everybody that peace of mind as well, that it's going to be safely delivered.
Absolutely, and we've been this year's Can Group's 35th anniversary, so slightly muted celebrations at the moment given the current pandemic situation. But we've been doing this for a long time. We've been in business since the mid '80s, so obviously with my youthful looks, I wasn't there back in the '80s, but the org's existed that long. So yeah.
I would love to have seen how the role evolved in 35 years of IT management, just to see.
Well, I'm not computers until the 90s, but
yeah. And just checking in on your Just Giving page as well. I see you guys are over 50% of the way to your target for Aber Necessities, so very well done. We'll put a link to your Just Giving page in the comments.
That's good. And as I mentioned earlier, that's justgiving.com/Can Group Esports.
Quite right, and that is a brilliant plug, and one that we fully endorse. Well, look, as you know, for the winners of the Prestige, that donation could be topped up by another £100. And are you confident of lifting that and taking that home? And is this hustling strategy going to come good for you?
Not in the slightest. I think blind luck. We'll be relying entirely on blind luck. I mean, the guys had a bit of we've been pretty unlucky thus far, I must say. We've been pretty unlucky. We've chosen to go on the roofs of buildings that have been populated by other much better teams. We've chosen to go into inappropriate places where we can be completely wiped out almost instantly. So yeah, I guess I think it's one of these ones that's I mean, like it's like any. I mean, as much as Warzone's got all these fancy gadgets, all the different things you can do, and all the different weapons, it fundamentally comes down to the same as any old traditional multiplayer first-person shooter. It's ultimately just the luck of the draw where you end up, and if we can we might be able to get a bit lucky. I mean, we certainly we've got one of our teams a bit of a plunder specialist, so we've certainly got a bit of a so I'd shout out to Claire in our team, who's been our sort of plunder expert thus far. So she's been coaching us all in plunder, which has obviously resulted in our sort of being noticed anyway, so she'll probably appreciate that. So we'll hopefully get the plunder, no bother, and we'll just have to focus on trying to find and shoot people. And in the first one and not dying in the last one. So we did okay in one of the rounds last week. We did okay. I think it ended up being suicide that killed our last man standing in the survival last time. Inadvertent suicide, I should say. So, but again, it just comes down to remembering what all the buttons do and what you're supposed to do. So.
But I think you're not overcomplicating it. The simplicity in your strategy is there for all to see. It's going to be quite fun watching along. Thanks very much for getting involved. And what would you say to anybody, contemplating getting involved or thinking about it? Any companies that
Yeah. I mean, the likes of certainly the likes of Warzone. It's a free to install game. It's a low point of entry. Literally, I had a conversation with yourself, John. Went in the other room and kicked off a download and just thought, let's have a crack at this and see how we get on. So, is what it is, and we'll either be glorious or we'll be defeated. But either way, we'll have a bit of fun. So that's the main thing, really.
That's correct. It's about the journey and it's about the enjoyment of that. And it sounds like you are having a lot of fun doing it as well. And just going forward, obviously, we're looking to expand and roll out the new things. You've mentioned sort of only being fairly new to Warzone. What other esports would you like to see, or what other games would you like to see us adding to your roster?
I don't know. I mean, I guess obviously you guys are doing FIFA too. There's a lot of people that start playing sort of sports games. I mean, potentially like things like obviously the Formula One season's just kicked off again. So there's I know there's a big sort of Formula One esports community sort of thing. So that might be something that could be done as well. Sort of kind of more kind of racing games. Even sort of looking at like daft things like is again like kind of platform limiting, but you could even do things like Mario Kart or something a bit fun, or like have a really really low point of entry from a gamer point of view, where you're sort of not very professional gamer can maybe just pick it up and still play, so stuff like that I'd quite like to see. I think a lot of these guys are a lot of these games are taken very seriously. I much prefer let's just play it for the fun of it rather than anything. So anything you can play for the fun of it and still beat someone that's been playing it professionally for 2 years is a bonus to me.
I think there's a healthy balance between maybe the kind of the modern warfares of this world and Among Us. Somewhere in the middle of this would be quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But look, Chris, thanks very much for taking the time out to have a chat with us. Really enjoyed that. Good luck to you and the team. I know it's been a squad rotation and a squad game for Cangrip, and good luck to you all taking it home for the next couple of nights.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks very much. That's great, and we'll see how we get on over the next 2 days. And
look forward to following it.
Cheers, John.
Thanks, Nick.